Having a pension makes you one of the fortunate few in America today. Less than 20% of people have access to pensions, which means you receive guaranteed monthly income when you retire. This is excellent news, but it also means your retirement planning is fundamentally different from most other retirees. Many individuals with pensions make significant mistakes because they don't understand how unique their situation really is. Here are 4 critical things you need to know about retiring with a pension that could help you keep substantially more income in your pocket. Hey there, my name is Danny Gudorf, and I'm a financial planner and owner of Gudorf Financial Group, where we specialize in helping people over 50 optimize their retirement income. I've worked with hundreds of pension recipients, and I've observed the same costly mistakes happening repeatedly. These mistakes can undermine what should be a solid retirement plan. Let me share these 4 critical pension planning considerations with you. The first thing you need to understand is that your planning needs are genuinely unique. Since fewer than 1 in 5 Americans have pensions, most financial advisors simply don't have sufficient experience working with pension recipients. This means they might not be able to provide optimal guidance to you. It's not just about understanding that you'll receive a guaranteed monthly income for life. It's about knowing how to integrate that pension effectively with all of your other financial assets. Many advisors who rarely work with pension recipients might miss critical tax planning opportunities. They may not understand how to optimize your investment allocation when you already have guaranteed income. They might also overlook important survivorship options that could significantly impact you and your spouse. Working with an advisor who specializes in pension planning can make a tremendous difference in your overall retirement outcome. Think about it this way. If you needed heart surgery, would you visit a general practitioner or a cardiac specialist? The same principle applies to your financial health when you have a pension. You want someone who understands the complexities of pension planning and has the experience of helping other families who are in similar situations. The second critical thing to understand is that you might not be in a lower tax bracket during retirement. Despite what conventional wisdom suggests, for decades, financial professionals have told clients they'll likely pay less in taxes during retirement because they'll have reduced income. But for many pension recipients, this isn't often accurate. When you combine your pension, your Social Security benefits, and required minimum distributions from your retirement accounts, you might find yourself in the same or even a higher tax bracket than during your working years. This is especially true since up to 85% of your Social Security benefits could be taxable depending on what your overall income level is. Consider this reality. Tax rates are currently at historically low levels. The highest federal tax bracket today is 37%, but it's scheduled to increase to 39.6% when the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act expires if no other laws or tax plan is passed. If we look further back in history, we see the highest bracket has been as high as 70% or even 94% after World War II. While not everyone pays the highest rates, they indicate the direction that tax policy might move in the future. This potential for higher future tax rates combined with your stable pension income means you need to be especially strategic about tax planning. This brings us to our third important point. The third essential thing you need to know if you're retiring with a pension is that Roth conversions might be your most powerful tax planning strategy. This approach involves transferring money from your tax-deferred accounts, like your traditional IRAs, 401ks, to your Roth accounts, where future withdrawals can be completely tax-free. For pension recipients, this strategy can be particularly valuable because your pension creates a stable income foundation that will likely push you into higher tax brackets in retirement. By strategically converting some of your tax-deferred savings to Roth accounts before RMDs start at age 73 or 75, you could potentially reduce your lifetime tax burden significantly. Let me illustrate why this matters. Imagine you have $1 million in your IRA at age 60. By the time you reach age 75, when required minimum distributions are mandatory, that account could grow to approximately $2 million even with conservative returns. At that point, your required minimum distributions would be about $80,000 annually. And that would be on top of your pension income, your Social Security income. This combination could easily push you into a much higher tax bracket. By completing the Roth conversions earlier in retirement or even before retirement, you can reduce the size of your tax-deferred accounts and therefore lower your future required distributions. This gives you much more control over your tax situation throughout retirement. However, Roth conversion planning isn't as simple as converting everything at once. You need to do a comprehensive analysis that considers your current and future tax brackets, the impact on Medicare premiums, and how conversions might affect the taxation of your Social Security benefits. This is another area where working with a pension experience advisor can make a significant difference. The fourth and final thing you need to know about retiring with a pension involves what I call the widow's penalty, one of the most overlooked aspects of pension planning. This refers to the substantial tax disadvantage that occurs when one spouse passes away. When one spouse dies, two major financial changes occur. First, Social Security benefits are reduced. The surviving spouse only retains the survivor benefit, which is the higher of the two benefits. Second, the tax filing statuses changes from married filing jointly to filing single, which effectively cuts the tax brackets in half. This means the surviving spouse could pay nearly double the taxes on the same amount of income. For pension recipients, this creates a particularly challenging situation. If you have a $50,000 pension with the survivorship option, your spouse might continue receiving that income after your death. However, that same $50,000 would be taxed much more heavily as a single filer than it would if you were married filing jointly. This is why it's critical to consider the survivorship option. Many pensions offer reduced benefits during your lifetime in exchange for continuing those pension payments with your spouse. This typically costs around 10% of your pension amount. So for a $50,000 pension, you might receive $45,000 instead, with your spouse continuing to receive payments after your death. While this survivorship option provides important protection, you should evaluate whether it's the most efficient approach for your situation. In some cases, using life insurance to provide for a surviving spouse might be more tax efficient than the pension survivorship option. This is because life insurance death benefits are generally tax-free while pension income remains taxable. For example, instead of taking a reduced pension with survivorship, you might consider taking the full pension amount and using part of the difference to purchase a life insurance policy. This could potentially provide more after-tax income for a surviving spouse while maximizing your income during your lifetime. These four considerations, finding a specialized pension planning expert, preparing for potential higher tax brackets, strategically using Roth conversions, and addressing the widow's tax trap, form the foundation of effective pension planning. By addressing these key areas proactively, you can maximize the value of your pension and create a much more secure retirement. Remember, having a pension puts you in a privileged position compared to most retirees today. but it also creates unique planning challenges that require specialized knowledge. Taking the time to understand these nuances and working with a professional who understands pension planning can make a huge difference in your overall retirement. If you're approaching retirement with a pension and want to ensure you're making the most of this valuable benefit, I encourage you to take a comprehensive approach to your planning. Consider how your pension integrates with your other income sources, develop a tax strategy that accounts for your unique situation, and make sure to address the potential risk. If you found this information helpful, you'll definitely want to check out my video on how to legally pay 0% capital gains tax on $100,000 of income in retirement. I'll walk you through a real-world example of how to structure your retirement income to minimize taxes, which is especially valuable for pension recipients. Click the link right here to watch that video now.